Alright, so in the previous video we have seen how we can handle errors with respect to the environment. So let's say if you are in the development environment, it will invoke development related errors, and if you are in the production level, it will generate error with respect to that environment. And if you remember, it will generate the errors correctly, but now it doesn't give any sort of information to the client, right? So again it is not somewhat user friendly, because if it is a validation error or cast error or type error or any sort of error, it must give some sort of meaningful message to the client, right? So then client can easily understand what is the mistake that he has done, right? So now let's see how we can do those stuff as well. So I will fix this one in the later on, but for now let's check other functions as well. So for example, let's say if I try to invoke this function, right, it simply says post is not exist, right? Because there is no post like that. And now if I move into the development environment and restart our server and invoke this function again, so it simply says what is the error, right? So that's how our error handling mechanism works. But let's say if I tried a completely different ID, right, which means some sort of invalid ID, let's say 222 or something like that. So this is not in the MongoDB standards, right? It is not a standard ID that can be generated via MongoDB internal services. So this is an invalid ID, which means we shouldn't perform our search queries to these sort of IDs, because it's wasting our resources, right? Because we obviously know this is not in the standard format. So if I make an invocation again, it will simply say there is an error with respect to your ID, right? So this error is specifically known as cast error, right? Because this is an invalid ID. So now let's see how we can handle this sort of cast error. So again we have to go to our global error handler middleware, because that is the place where we are doing all of these error handling stuffs. So over there we can handle these cast errors, right? So these sort of errors we need to handle in the production level as well, because if I switch back to the production level and restart the server, and if I invoke this thing again, it will simply say something went wrong, right? Which is not quite meaningful, right? So client should be aware of whether he has entered some sort of invalid ID or something like that. So this error will be invoked at this level, right? Because this is the development errors, let's say the error responses, and these are the production error responses, right? So this is the place we need to address that cast error. So I will make a separate function, then later on we can have whole lot of functions to handle those sort of errors. So let's say DB related error handlers. So first thing is handling invalid ID errors, also known as cast errors, right? So let's say handle cast error in our DB, right? So we first need to get the error, right? And we need to construct a message, right? Let's say it simply says invalid ID, but we can further improve this error message by using this backtick, and we can specify what is the invalid ID as well. So let's say err.value. Then we can construct our app error object within this global error function. So instead of simply saying something went wrong, now it will be aware of the entire context, right? So first we need to import our app error as well. So app error require app error and app error. So this is the message, and it is client side error, right? So 400. Now this app error object will be constructed, and we need to use this function at the production level, right? So in the production level, I will specify our first type of error as handling invalid database IDs, right? So all we have to do is we need to check our what we call this our error stack, right? So if I move back to the development environment and invoke this function again, you can see at the error name we have cast error. So this is the attribute we need to read in order to determine whether this is a cast error or not, right? So inside global error handler, I'm going to perform if error.name, and if it is cast error, then construct an error by using this handle cast error thing, right? So then it will generate the necessary error for us, and that error will be passed to over here, right? So this error will be automatically overridden by this error class. So now if I invoke this error again, okay, we are currently at the development environment, we need to switch back to the production level and restart the server and invoke that function again. Nice. Now it says invalid ID. This is an invalid ID. So previously it just responds something went wrong, which is not quite user friendly, but now it says we have invalid ID, which is quite user friendly, and user can understand what he has done wrong. Alright, so that's how we can handle cast errors which related to invalid database IDs, and in the next tutorial let's see how we can handle further types of errors.